In 1833, a young man of 15 stepped into a London court. He was an apprentice at the official assignee of bankruptcy court, and when his boss shouted his name from across the room,
Deloitte!
He could not have known how it would travel through centuries to become the name behind 140,000 people worldwide dedicated to being the standard of excellence in audit, tax, financial advisory, and consulting services. Deloitte went on to make a name for himself in the railroad industry. He was the first auditor ever appointed by the Great Western Railway and discovered the infamous frauds of the Great North Railway. Despite this drama in his professional life, Deloitte was a quiet, genteel man. His nephew, Edward Albury, remembers Deloitte returning from work in the evening to smoke a single cigar and retire to bed without saying a word. And he wore a fresh flower in his vest no matter what the season. Flash forward 50 years to New York City. With the country in serious economic decline, Charles Haskin and Elijah Watt Sales were appointed by the United States government to investigate ways to simplify work and increase efficiency. Their recommendations saved the government $600,000 a year. Haskin and Sales opened successful offices in New York, Chicago, and London. 5 years later, they were joined by Scotsman George A. Touche, who opened Touche, Niven and Company next door to Haskin and Sales at 30 Broad Street. Life was good on Broad Street. Business was strong and the accounting profession was steadily growing. But change was about to come whistling through that blustery corner of New York City's financial district. In 1913, the 16th Amendment to the Constitution allowed income tax to be levied on Americans for the first time. The Journal of Accounting noted it was indubitable that the income tax law is to have a more far-reaching effect upon public accountants than upon any other profession or business in the country. The stock market crash in 1929 and the Great Depression brought the issue of independent auditing into the spotlight. The 1933 Securities Act passed and required public corporations to file independently certified registration statements and periodic reports. A year later, the Securities and Exchange Commission was created to administer the new legislation, creating significant demand for accountants. Women accountants, who had been unable to make headway in the leading firms, suddenly found themselves in great demand. After World War II, America stood on the brink of historic economic expansion. A Detroit accountant named George Bailey launched his own company, and within the year, merged with Touche, Niven and Company. The new company soared under Bailey's management. More mergers and partnerships saw a variety of name changes before settling on Touche Ross in 1969. The baby boomer years gave rise to the information revolution. Few professionals were affected more than accountants. Touche Ross led the charge, becoming the first accounting organization to automate its bookkeeping. Merger and acquisition mania grabbed hold of American businesses in the 1980s. New managers at these companies needed insightful advice, technological expertise, global operations, and support for their merger and acquisition activity. To cap off this decade, Touche Ross and Deloitte Haskin Sales merged in 1989, creating Deloitte and Touche. This newly formed company set out to provide the coordinated global services and solutions their clients required, hiring the best minds in every country and training them to excel. And in 1995, the partners of Deloitte and Touche voted to create Deloitte Consulting. Deloitte and Touche USA LLP met this new century with a new generation of leaders and a vision of becoming the standard of excellence. Today, they continue to hire the best and brightest to help their clients master the challenges of a fast-paced global economy. With Chief Executive Officer Barry Salzberg at the helm, the Deloitte U.S. firms deliver services to more than 80% of the world's largest companies, as well as large national enterprises and public institutions. The U.S. firms are recognized as leaders in advancing women, and they tangibly demonstrate their commitment to their people, communities, and schools every day. And the journey to the standard of excellence continues. Come, be a part of the Deloitte story. To learn more, visit Deloitte.com.